Alright, let's get into the latest on the simmering tensions between the US and Iran and where China fits into all this. So just weeks after the US launched military strikes on 3 of Iran's nuclear sites, President Trump is back in the headlines, threatening Iran over its nuclear enrichment program. In a press conference in Scotland, standing next to the UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Trump didn't mince words. He said Iran was sending very bad signals, very nasty signals, and made it clear the US isn't backing down. Now those US strikes, they were no small thing. Out of 3 targeted nuclear enrichment sites in Iran, only 1 was mostly destroyed, Natanz. That's the facility that handles metal conversion, a crucial step for nuclear enrichment. Experts say it could take Iran years to rebuild it. But here's the kicker: Trump actually turned down a broader, longer military campaign that could have lasted weeks. So, what we got was a hit that hurt, but didn't completely cripple Iran's nuclear ambitions. Meanwhile, the cost of this conflict is piling up in other ways. During the 12-day war between Israel and Iran, US forces fired off more than 100 highly advanced THAAD missile interceptors, maybe even 150. That's about a quarter of America's total supply. So, the US is burning through expensive hardware faster than it can replace it, all to keep Iran's missiles at bay. And Iran? It's not just feeling the heat on the battlefield. The US Treasury just slapped fresh sanctions on 18 Iranian entities and individuals, targeting networks Iran uses to dodge sanctions and keep money flowing in, especially from oil sales that are supposed to be off limits. But Iran keeps finding ways to keep its economy afloat, especially with a little help from, you guessed it, China. Let's talk about China. When Israel hit Iran this past June, China tried to jump in and play mediator. Beijing's foreign minister called for calm and offered to help broker a peace deal. But let's be real. China's influence here is pretty limited. Without serious military clout or deep political connections in the region, Beijing doesn't have the leverage to change the game, even if it wants to look like a responsible global player. But that doesn't mean China isn't watching closely. With 6 of its top 10 oil suppliers in the Persian Gulf and more than 90% of Iran's exported oil heading to China, usually through backdoor deals, Beijing has a lot riding on stability in the region. At the same time, the US getting bogged down in the Middle East is actually a strategic win for China. The more Washington is distracted, the more China can focus on its own interests, whether that's in trade or on the global stage. Just after the recent ceasefire, China's defense minister even met with Iran's military leadership. But again, it's more about keeping communication lines open and protecting its energy interests than any real power play. So, to sum it up, the US and Iran are locked in a high-stakes standoff, with Trump threatening more action and Iran vowing to keep enriching uranium. China wants to look like a peacemaker and keep oil flowing, but its hands are mostly tied. What do you think? Is this the start of a new Cold War in the Middle East? Or just more saber-rattling? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you want more deep dives on global power moves, make sure to subscribe and check out the playlist for more stories like this one.